Welcome to the channel. This is your host, Hydraulix. Today we're going to be starting a new series going through Battletech. I'm really excited about this one. I grew up playing all the MechWarrior games and Star Siege, Ultrabots on DOS, all kinds of those old nifty giant robot games. So let's jump into this. I've played it a good bit. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Turn-based, hex-based. It's got some pretty decent cinematics.
I am Kamea of House Arano, High Lady of the Oregon Reach, Protector of Coromadir, and the Sword of Restoration. But I am not a hero, no matter what the stories say. A hero would have sacrificed more, compromised less. A hero would have done better. You know this, of course. You were there. My father used to tell me stories about the ancient times, about the Star League, a golden age of prosperity, upheld by the great mech warriors of old, guardians of the innocent, protectors of the peace. I always dreamed of following in their footsteps. I was too young to see the truth of things. After all, it wasn't heroism or a noble cause that won me the throne. It was hiring a mercenary, skilled enough, perhaps ruthless enough, to carry the day. Hiring you. I still don't know if you fought for honor or for the thrill of it, for belief in my cause, or just in my money. But whether it was your noble heart or mercenary mind, your actions gave us hope. That makes you a hero in the eyes of history. Whether you believe it, that's up to you.
All right. So, as that suggests, you go through the game playing as a mercenary in classic Battletech fashion. You know, I just realized I'm not sure how to pronounce this word. Aragon? I'm just going to refer to it as the Reach until I can figure out exactly how to say that. I don't want to butcher it. It's a small kingdom in the rimward periphery, a region of space that lies at the outskirts of the more densely colonized inner sphere. If you're familiar with Battletech and MechWarrior, you've got the inner sphere, the outer sphere. It's the way they categorize the universe. It is home to the coalition, a federation organized around a parliamentary monarchy and ruled by the Arano family. So that woman talking in the beginning is one of the Arano family. For 3 generations under the rule of House Arano, the Oregon coalition has remained a relatively peaceful corner of the periphery. It is here your story begins. So, this game kind of takes place before the clans. I know the clans are kind of a big part of what MechWarrior has always been. This happens before the clans emerge. Krita has always been a favorite house of mine. I've always really enjoyed Krita. Got Merrick, Davian, of course, Steiner, Liao. I've always had a problem with Liao ever since Mech Commander 2. Oh man, they were dirty in that game. Magistry, Turian Concordant, the Rimward Periphery, and the Deep Periphery. So, there's lots of RPG elements in the game. And going through setting up your background in here, this is going to affect in a slight way how the role play goes in the campaign here. Different backgrounds will give you different dialogue options, basically. From what I've seen, it doesn't equate to a huge change in the gameplay. It's just kind of fun. So we're just going to say that we came from the Draconis Combine. Though immigrants to the Aragon Reach, your family soon established a comfortable presence in a small backwater system on the edge of Aragon space. By the time you were born, your family had become the de facto ruling nobility of the system's only inhabited planet. You were the oldest child, heir to the family's titles and ancestral battle mech in old Blackjack BJ-1. This is where you met Raju Mastiff Montgomery, a veteran of the Succession Wars, whom your parents hired on for a season to train you as a mech warrior. So, stereotypically, in the mech warrior Battletech universe, mech warriors are generally nobility. It's not very often that you'll find, rebel scum, for lack of a better word, that just are seasoned, trained mech warriors. It just doesn't really happen. Generally, people piloting these very expensive, very large machines are some kind of nobility, kind of like in the medieval ages, how the knights and whatnot had to have some kind of nobility. Otherwise you were just basically a foot soldier, right? Raju was a strict but capable teacher, and you quickly became a skilled pilot under his tutelage. It was an uneventful life. So already we're getting the undertone that while we're being trained to do this, it didn't feel right. It didn't give us that satisfaction. Until the day after our 16th birthday, when, and then we choose what happened, we were exiled, struck out on your own, family went bankrupt, died in an accident, it's a little bit cliche, or your family was betrayed, again a little bit cliche for how the MechWarrior games generally go. Very MechWarrior 4 right here. So, as you can see, these different options here are actually going to give our character bonuses to different skills. These aren't a huge deal. It's definitely a boost, but it's not a huge deal. I'm just going to pick this based on what I want the backstory to be and not really worry about the bonuses because we can take care of that later. I'm going to say we struck out on our own because that just makes sense to me. It didn't feel like we were getting the satisfaction of our life we wanted, so that makes sense, right? Kid starts growing up, 16 years old, pretty young, struck out on our own. We wanted to find adventure, right? Makes sense. Out on your own, you fell into the life of a coalition soldier, frontier pirate, a Solaris gladiator. Anyone familiar with MechWarrior Online should understand the significance of this. Solaris is, it says here, is a MechWarrior to the famed arena planet of Solaris, where you eked out a living as a gladiator, fighting for the crowd in minor arenas, getting by from paycheck to paycheck. It's essentially, as it sounds, a gladiator pit, but it's an entire planet. It's a dirty lifestyle, but can be lots of glory in it. An inner sphere mercenary, frontier freelancer, or merchant guard. I think I'm gonna go with merchant guard. That sounds like something that you could get picked up as being a nobility. Getting picked up to protect merchants, right? So we signed up as a guard for a small trading guild, providing security as the guild's caravan made trading runs. Excuse me. Between the inner sphere and the periphery. So, but the outer sphere, right? The clans hasn't happened yet, so it's the inner sphere and then the periphery on the outside. It was a largely uneventful life, but you were able to put your MechWarrior skills to good use in the occasional scuffle with pirates and uncooperative local governments. That sounds a little bit terroristy, but then again, this is a really large universe we're talking about, so. And it gives us +1 piloting. Until years later, you crossed paths with Raju Mastiff Montgomery once again. While escorting a supply caravan to a small outpost on the outskirts of the Aragan Reach, you were set upon by pirates and left for dead. Raju happened to be visiting the capital city and picked up your distress call. Upon rescuing you, he offered you a job in the House Arano Royal Guard. It's a pretty big promotion right there. So it is that you find yourself reunited with your old mentor, preparing your ancestral blackjack for guard duty on the coronation day of the Lady Kamea Arano. Alright. Backstory complete. Now we just have to make our character real quick. We're just gonna go with Grim Hydraulix. First name. Just keep this simple. Go with Grim Hydraulix. Pronoun. This is another feature some people might find quite interesting here. You have preferred pronouns. He, she, and they. So it's important to know if that means anything to you. Doesn't really affect the game much at all. It just kind of changes the RPG elements. We want someone that looks a little younger, I think. If we struck out at 16 and then years later bumped into Raju, I don't think we'd be quite this old. Seems a little old. Do you think we'd still be late 20s? This guy looks in his early 30s at least. Not a huge amount of selection. How about this here? That might work out. Okay, looks like he's been through hell. That's quite the mohawk right there. Yeah, we're just gonna go with this guy in the interest of time here. Let's just go ahead and go with this. We can customize it a little bit. These are all the different customization options you can go through. You can change the camera angle. It's a nice touch. We're just gonna go with this. This will be us, Grim Hydraulix, right here. All right. So an update. Decades ago, your family came to the Aragan Reach from the Draconis Combine. Day after our 16th birthday, we struck out on our own, sick of the noble life. +1 piloting, +1 tactics. Out on our own, we fell into the life of a merchant guard, +1 piloting. So together, we've got our piloting up to a whopping 4, and our tactics got boosted to 3. Alright, this should work out well for us, I think. The High Lord Tamadi Arano II is dead. The Aragan Reach is left at an uncertain crossroads. Once prosperous, it is now a kingdom. Oh, I'm too slow. Lord Santiago Espinoza, brother-in-law to the late High Lord, is convinced that the slow-moving Council of Founding Houses must be dissolved. He proposed directive would conscript their house guard and centralize power under a single throne. However, the High Lord's heir, the noble Lady Kamea Arano, is determined to rebuild the Reach without transforming it into an authoritarian state. She refuses to enact her uncle's directive and has rebuked his vehement pleas to reconsider. On the morning of Lady Arano's ascension to the throne, her loyal captain of the guard, Raju, makes preparations to escort her safely to the coronation process that awaits in Cordia City. Whew, that was some fast reading. Coronation Day. 8:53 local time. Local time. I'm not sure what that is in GMT. I just love this splash screen right here. This is the blackjack here. This is such a pretty mech right here. Some size comparison here. The guy standing up top.
Command interface initiated.
So this first mission here, it's going to go through some tutorial elements. Move your screen around with the WASD keys. Pretty simple. Right mouse button or Q and E to rotate the camera here. Okay, Grim Hydraulix, I had the Espinosa refit yards rush the repairs on your blackjack. Looks like it's all in one piece, but we should run some diagnostics on it just to be sure. Standard field tests, you know the drill. More importantly, though, I want to tell you more about the job I brought you out here to do. Now do me a favor and get that battle mech moving. Let's see if there are any kinks in the actuators. Got some amazing zoom that we can do here. It's a really pretty game.
I'll come right out and say it, kid. I wasn't completely honest with you the other day. There's gonna be more to this job than escort duty.
Alright. So we're gonna move up here. Once you select where you're going, you can change the facing of your mech. Facing is important. And depending on how far you go, you can see it's got some constraints. It's stopping me from turning more than a certain degree. That's because once you're moving at a certain speed, you're not going to have enough time to turn that far in the time they give you for moving. If you go a shorter distance, you'll be able to do a full 180, whatever you want to do. So we'll just go up here and make sure our forward armor is facing these targets. I brought you here because there's something wrong in the capital. It's been too quiet since High Lord Tamatu's funeral, and I'm worried about Lady Kamea's safety during her coronation procession. Anyway, it looks like your actuators check out. Let's conduct a weapons test. Target one of those burnt out old urban mechs and open fire.
Like I was saying, I can't prove anything. But my gut tells me something's off. And a warrior trusts their instincts.
Use tab to switch between targets here. Makes it pretty easy. I do like these little urban mechs. They look pretty cool. So you can see the UI is quite intense. There's a lot going on here. And the game does not explain it all very well at all. So I'll try to point out a little bit I've learned as I've gone through this, but I'm sure there's lots of things that even I haven't figured out yet. You see our blackjack's got 4 medium lasers, 2 autocannon 2s. These are your light autocannons, essentially. Longer range, extreme range, as a matter of fact, because it's a smaller slug, so it does less damage. The damage is listed on this card. Weapons that use ammo do indeed use up ammo, and you will be unable to fire the weapon if you run out of bullets. So it's important to remember that. These hit percentages are incredibly high. That's because this is training here, essentially. Just go ahead and take care of this real quick. Should I move on? Completely destroyed that mech. Good shot. Your guns are in working order at least. I've been training Lady Arano since she was 14 years old. She can be naive at times and proud, but I have no doubt that she'll be a just and effective ruler. It's on us to see her safely to Cordia City. I'll rest easier once she's in the capital with her cousin Victoria by her side. Lady Victoria, well, she's only been training under me for a single season, but she's already shaped herself into one of the strongest mech warriors I've ever seen. Reminds me a lot of you, truth be told. Remember, he only trained us for a season as well. Anyway, we should run a check on your targeting computer. You see that drone over there? The one moving through the tree line? Put some hurt on it for me, and then, when it turns, Take it out with a rear angle shot. After it's down, we'll keep moving.
Kamea's like a daughter to me, and her late father, Hydraulix,
Excuse me.
was a good friend.
So this is the game trying to teach us about armor facings. So he's talking about a rear angle shot. So he wants us to fire at it.
All weapons committed.
I can tell that we completely gutted the mech, but not the tank.
Victoria pulls no punches, but she's been a loyal companion to Kamea since they were kids. Aside from you, there's no one I'd rather have by my side in a fight.
The reason that we were not able to destroy that tank that easily is it is in the tree line. Cover does play a big part in this. Your accuracy will go down. You know, you're firing through trees. You're not going to do as much damage. The other thing it's trying to show, like I just said though, is armor facings. So when you target this here, this will tell you those opening shots we had. It dealt enough damage to knock down only 18 points of armor. That's what the A stands for right here. And then structural damage is where you're actually getting into the meat and potatoes of this thing. We have not even touched that. So now, you can see there was 75 armor there. On the rear, there's only 7 armor and only 1 structural point. So now, we only have to do a total of 8 damage to get through there. So if any of these shots land, it should be an instant kill. Vehicle destroyed.
Enemy unit destroyed.
I already said that, computer. Nice shot. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with Aragan politics, but the Reach was badly shaken by High Lord Tamati's death. It needs a smooth transfer of power, and Kamea belongs on the Cormorant? Cormorant, I believe is how you say that throne. Go ahead and fire up your jump jets, kid. I want to see you descend this cliff face. Aim for that patch of ground there near the edge of the lake. So this is where it's teaching about jump jets. So he wants us to fly over here. So down here on your command bar. Everything's grayed out. It's kind of forcing us with what we have to do in this tutorial section. Thing to note with jump jets, you are not restricted on where you face when you land. No matter how far you're jumping, you can completely turn. This can be used to travel short distances and get a full turnaround. Even if you have like damaged legs and whatnot, and you can't turn around very well, you're just too heavy, that sort of thing, you can use a jump to reposition your armor facing. It's definitely something that's come up that I've had to use in this. We're just going to go ahead and split the difference between these two targets.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Jump jets build a lot of heat, and that was more than your engine could handle. Head on into that water. We need to get you cooled off.
Generally speaking, a single jump like that is not going to overheat your mech. This is your heat threshold here. I can't get the UI to say a whole lot about it. Essentially, this tick mark here, anything above that, and your mech's going to have heat issues, and it'll start dealing damage to you. And you see it's the structure damage, not the armor. So here, we got 376 structure points that went down because of overheating. So our armor's still there, but the internals, the actual structure of the mech, is getting damaged from the core overheating. That's what you need to look out for. So, as he suggested, we can move into bodies of water to cool down the system. Warning, plasma leak detected, jump jet malfunction, jump jet system damaged, system inoperable until repaired. Oh, for the love of all the gods, this is what I get for insisting on a rush job. Yeah, you should never, ever rush maintenance. Not that I had much of a choice. The Espinosa refit yards were backlogged like you wouldn't believe. It looked like they were trying to process every single Royal Guard mech in time for the coronation. Well, trying to rush maintenance on an entire planet There isn't any time to get your jets replaced, so we're gonna have to make do without them. Go ahead and take that mech down with a melee attack. I want to be sure nothing else is gonna break down in your blackjack before we take it out on the Comorant Road. Alright. So yes, indeed, we can have giant robots punching other giant robots. This is something you didn't see a whole lot of in the MechWarrior games. Go ahead and just ram into this guy here.
Engaging physical attack.
Good hit. At least that's solid. Alright, one last test. I want you to take your blackjack up to a sprint and evade my attack.
Let's push that engine, kid. If something goes wrong today, I want to know that your mech can maneuver.
So there isn't really a way that you actually like tell your pilot to dodge. What he's talking about is these tick marks. You see when I'm moving this, how there's 3 tick marks here, 1 here, and you can see there's already 1 on the mech. These tick marks are evasion points. Evasion points make targets harder to hit. We'll explain that a little bit later on more in depth, but essentially the more tick marks you have on your mech when he's finished moving, the harder it's going to be for them to hit him. And it's representing how fast you're moving, how erratically you're moving, and if your pilot has a higher or lower ability to dodge incoming fire. It's kind of a mix of all those things. So go ahead and go to sprint. That'll give us 3 evasion points. You see his shots missed, and a tick mark went down. Excuse me. So when you shoot a target, whether you hit or not, you will strip off one of those evasion markers. Congratulations. Your blackjack's as combat ready as it can be, given the circumstances. For what it's worth, I hope that my suspicions turn out to be unfounded, and we end the day having a good laugh about what a paranoid old man I've become. But if not, then I know that you'll be ready. Alright, it's time to move out. Lady Arano is waiting for us at the mech bay.
An impressive display, Sir Raju. Of course, this mech warrior was a student of yours. I'd expect them to know their way around a cockpit.
See here, we finally have the option of moving and sprinting. If you sprint, obviously that's going to end your turn. You can't do a whole lot more.
Full throttle.
If you move, you have other options available to you. Allow me to introduce Kamea Arano, the soon-to-be High Lady of the Aragon Coalition. Is Lady Victoria on this channel? Victoria Espinosa. For the time being, my father has summoned me to the Picton Docks. I have a fleet inspection and a tour of the family's refit yards to preside over before the coronation. Behold the responsibilities of a noble daughter, a fount of tedium that never runs dry. Quite good dialogue in this, I have to say. I know the feeling, cousin. By this time tomorrow, I'll be responsible for the entire Reach. Oh, that seems a little bit tooting your own horn right there. Give my best to your father, and don't be late for the tourney. The gambling dens are already taking bets on how long it'll take me to cripple that customized monstrosity you pilot. Oh, savage. Laughing. Bold words, cousin. But the only victory they'll be celebrating is mine. You may be ascending the throne today, but my Kaga, I'm assuming this is her battle mech, I'm not familiar with that, honestly, is more than a match for the family heirloom that you call a battle mech. And in the arena, I reign supreme. Chuckling. We'll see, cousin, we'll see. At any rate, I will see you at the tourney grounds. Sir Raju, I'm ready to go when you are. Overland, along the Comorant Road, as is the Arano tradition. So it's tradition, apparently, to pilot one's battle mech to the coronation. Excuse me. I, Kamea, will get you there in one piece. Fall in behind me. And remember what I told you.
Mission successful.
mission successful, or rather, tutorial successful.
I remember the Oregon Reach of old, the time of the Great Expansion. I was just a boy then. Proudly we went forth, bringing the light of our coalition to so many systems. And for what? To see our great kingdom slowly waste away? Year after year, the Council deliberates while our economy falters. And the wolves bay at every door, while covetous neighbors plot against us. Well, I say, it can go no further. We are here today because if Lady Orana will not act, someone must. I know what I'm asking of you. You will face former comrades, or even loved ones, on the battlefield. I take up arms against my own niece. But remember, today we sacrifice so that tomorrow we can return our kingdom to its proper glory, to its proper strength. So should you fall tonight, know that you did so as true heroes of the Reach. To your stations, for the Directorate!
Coronation Day, 1322 local time. The city outskirts. So as you saw there, the Directorate is staging a coup. They plan to take over by force. Ah, there's that lovely blackjack again. For the purposes of uploading this to YouTube, we're going to end the video here for part 1, and then I will immediately begin part 2 here. Thank you for watching, and please enjoy the next part as soon as it's out.